Hey there, Naruto fans. You're probably like me, and you're up watching YouTube videos to see if you can find out who Tobi is. It's really fun and guessing, and I gotta say I love the series for the fact that I'm still intrigued. Some 300, almost 400 episodes later, and there's still big mysteries involved. But I'm here to talk to you about who I believe Tobi is. I created a video earlier about it saying it was Shisui. And there was a lot of people that liked it at first, and then a lot of people that came through with some comments that tried to prove my theory wrong. I appreciate that. It made me look into detail more and look at other people's videos and requests for it. So without further ado, I'm going to run down my reasons of who it shouldn't be, or who it can't be, and give you some more evidence of why I believe it is Shisui. Number 1. Tobi isn't the sage of the six-path sun with the uchiha side, the side that inherited his visual prowess and jutsu powers and all that good stuff. For simple reason, man, that guy's gotta be dead. I know that's just like well, that's easy to say, but the big thing I keep hearing about it is, well, he knows a lot about Madara, and he knows a lot about the Gyubi, and the sage of the six paths and all that good stuff. But for people to sit there and say that he extending his life and all that good stuff, which just doesn't make sense to me, because the Senju son inherited his life force. So if anyone's going to find a way to live longer, it's the Senju side. It's not going to be the Uchiha side. That's just simple, and it makes perfect sense to me, and it should make sense to you. 2, it's not danzo, obviously. Not even going on any further about that. Obito, too young. He was a weak link of the Uchiha. His eyes don't even actually match up with the mask. So, and he wouldn't really have a reason to come back and try and rule the world. You know, let alone destroy the leaf. He liked the leaf. The only thing he had a problem with was Kakashi. And then he ended up liking Kakashi. So, I think that cancels him out. Izuna Uchiha. Yeah, it's questionable always, because, you know, he's old and they mention him quite a bit and all that good stuff, but I believe he's too old. There's sides to he gave his eye willingly or he didn't, but the Wikipedia itself says that he gave his eyes willingly. So, and he died in battle, blindly fighting, you know, still next to his brother and stuff. So there would be no reason for him to come back and try and take over the world. And he wasn't ever mentioned during his fight, during Madara's fight with Hashirama and all that stuff. So you know he died before that. So there's no purpose of him carrying on that beef between Madara and Hashirama, first Hokage. Madara kind of cancels it out, but who knows? You know, the story writer is very creative. But in all aspects and general realizations of it, he's fighting all the Kages right now. And, you know, enough said on that. Some of the things that are kind of questionable and stuff, like Tobi saying that he gave Nagato his Rinnegan. I don't believe that, because if you watch the Jiraiya, you know, storyline or, you know, 2-part episode thing that they go into about that, it shows Jiraiya watching Nagato develop it right off the bat. It's not like Tobi came in and just popped out eyes and gave him new eyes. That would be pretty weird and pretty random all of a sudden too, for this kid that was around 2 other kids that were with him all the time. You know, to be like, oh yeah, all of a sudden Nagato disappeared for a day and just had Rinnegan eyes. Doesn't make much sense. Go ahead and comment on that if you really think you can, and persuade me on that. I would love to hear it. Alright, now my reasons for it being Shisui Uchiha. There's an episode when you go back into Itachi and Sasuke fight in Shippuden, and it's like the very first episode when they're about to walk up and finally face each other, and it shows Itachi going through some personal problems and all that good stuff, and not training Sasuke and yada yada yada. He gets confronted by an Ambu Black Ops agent. Real quick, real, and just tells him basically, like, you still have to perform the other mission, even though he was supposed to go to the meeting tonight with the Uchiha clan to kind of like dethrone the Hidden Leaf Village government and have the Uchiha take it over and yada da. So, and that kind of ties into the moment after that night happens. 3 Uchiha members come up to Itachi and question him about Shusui's death and how he left a note and committed suicide. And all of them don't believe it to be his style. It never was. He was very loyal to the clan and da da da. And the note simply explains, I cannot walk the path anymore. This path is not right. Blah, blah, blah. I'm done with it. So he apparently tries to kill himself, or convinces people that he kills himself and drowned himself. His name, let alone, stands for still water, which is kind of interesting. But, I mean, he disappears from that point. For a character that you don't see in the show all so much, and mind you, I am basing that Black Ops agent that he's meeting is Shisui, or Shisui, even though it doesn't say who it is at any point or time. But it does state that he was a Black Ops member. He was one of the very few to develop the Mangekyou Sharingan. He was very intelligent, strong, and talented all at the same time, and was one of Itachi's closest friends to even be considered like his older brother. The older brother part plays part in the age factor when he's fighting the 4th Hokage. It shows a little age resemblance there, someone of somewhat like the same age and mastering of his techniques and stuff. I know they say his eyes were taken, and it can't be him because his eyes were taken, but if you really look at this series, it's not hard to pop out eyeballs and put new eyeballs in, especially if you're Tobi and you have thousands of Uchiha bodies stacked up in your little lair or hideout that you could just pop in new eyes any given time of the day whenever you feel like it. Simply put, I mean, when he used Izangi against Conan, he was just like, it was no big deal. He used it, oh, I lost my eye, popped in a Rinnegan. Now, the Rinnegan history thing about all that, there's obviously like a big lair and a big hideout that the Uchiha have that explains everything and anything about their eyes and their powers. And it is even said that the Sharingan, evolves into a Rinnegan. So for all we know, Tobi over there could have just been using his eyes, doing whatever he had to do, reading on the tablets or scrolls or whatever he got, and just has backup Rinnegans for any reason other than just to have power. Why he only shows one eye, I'm not really sure. But when Danzo is using Shinsui's technique in the 5 Kage Summit, it's not even showing. It's hidden the whole time, and the only reason it was ever discovered or found was because Ao has the Byakugan and he sensed something was up. So to me that makes perfectly good sense of why you can only need to show one eye, and that would just be purely to see. And the other eye, he could probably just sense chakra through it and see all that, but so he needs one hole just to cast some jutsu if he feels like it, and it seems like it's that teleportation, almost like a Kamui jutsu that Kakashi has. Being a natural Uchiha, I'm sure he's able to develop immediate control over all these eyes. When Tobi is fighting Danzo and his 2 members from Root, and he gets, hit in the arm with that Obirama, that bug clan jutsu, and his arm starts to fall off, he immediately just squeezes it off and Zetsu falls down. Easily explained in my opinion. Tobi created Zetsu from Hoshirama's cells and whatever else that he did. The reason for that being, in my theory, is that in the Wikipedia, for why, other than, just hints and clues that it would state it under Shisui, that his technique that he used to control people's mind that no one else has been able to have or developed, that jutsu that's so perfect that people don't even realize they're under it, and people around it don't even realize it's being used. You know, it's said that by itself, under an uchiha bloodline, pure bloodline, it can only be used once every couple months or maybe even a year. I'm not really sure, but it's a long damn time to use. And then it says, unless you have senju blood cells in you. Then you could use it every couple of hours. And it was clearly shown that when he was fighting the 4th Hokage, that he already had senju cells in him. So even by that time too, he was already manipulating the 4th Mizukage, meaning he was using that technique whenever he felt like it. Used it on Itachi? Who knows? Used it on the 4th Mizukage? Yes. Used it on Hoshiga, what's that fool's name? The shark guy. You guys know what I'm talking about. Hoshikage? Yeah. Can't say his name right now. It's late where I'm at, and I just had to repost a video, so. But used it on him to make him believe that he was Madara Uchiha. Very reasonable. And really, just for someone who's not shown in the show for more than maybe like a clip at best, and in the manga for like a page at the most, they have a lot of information about this guy. I know people want to think it's Kagumi Uchiha, who was with Tobi Rama and his crew at the time. And yeah, appearances wise, it looks like him. But straight up, all they say about that guy is that he was an Uchiha and he died. Nothing further, nothing more. Irrelevant in my opinion. You know what I mean? No other mention of him whatsoever. No ties to anyone that would make it dramatic. I mean, if you're up to date with everything like I am and go over it like 5 times like I do because you just love the show, Itachi is still alive and running around. Shisui's eye is still being talked about, and like no one ever knew that Itachi was holding on to it all of a sudden. And his interest with Sasuke could purely be because it's his friend's little brother. You know, and for someone who had a dominant eye jutsu that could control people, what better thing to do than to get more power to create a jutsu that controls everyone all at one time? He stated that he couldn't walk the path, he didn't like where it was going, and decides to walk his own new path. Faked the suicide. Kabuto claims too that he was trying to revive him for that reanimation jutsu to use in the World War IV, but couldn't find his body. So, I mean, yeah, Danzo got his eye and everything, but it even brings up more speculation of why Tobi was so adamant about trying to get Danzo's Sharingan. You know, and he was really pissed that Danzo crushed it. You know, but when you're overall and going for a jutsu that controls everyone at one time, what good is a jutsu that controls one person at a time? So I think he's over it. Done and over it. And I'm sure he's got plenty of other techniques up his back. But it would definitely expand the story. It would give it greater depth. And it would go more into the history and questions that we have about everything. So, about him being so knowledgeable about Madara and the Sage of the Sixth Path doesn't seem like a big deal to me, especially when the Uchiha have hidden tablets and scrolls and hideouts about their clan's history and all that good stuff. I'm really more curious as to why Naruto doesn't know anything about the Senju clan. And, you know, maybe that's going to come up and all that good stuff, because it's got to be the yin to the yang. So if they're that powerful, then Naruto's crew's got to be obviously that powerful too. Thank you for watching my video. I appreciate all your opinions and comments, but I would much rather watch a video of you explaining into detail of why you think I'm wrong. And thank you.